I'm Mike Wilson. Welcome to Comcast Newsmakers from the Indiana State House in downtown Indianapolis. Officials and lawmakers from across the state are joining us throughout this year's legislative session for discussions on a pretty broad range of important topics. And right now we're talking to State Representative Justin Moed. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, glad to be here.
So obviously short session means maybe not every bill is going to get the individual attention that it might necessarily need. And in fact, we tend to be in like sort of weed out mode and funnel mode. But what are you working on right now? What do you think some of the possibilities are?
So I'm working on House Bill 1080 that came out of the House to lift the prohibition on rail from Marion County's mass transit planning. The genesis of the bill came from the attention we're getting from outside companies that are looking to relocate here, particularly Amazon, that are looking to relocate here as a possibility. And we want to make sure that the city has all the tools in the toolbox to meet the needs of a new employers.
So we're talking about light rail, or are we talking about heavy rail, or are we talking about open possibilities?
Sure. It pretty much opens the possibilities. It doesn't say that it will happen, but it just eliminates this kind of strange state law that prohibits Indianapolis from even thinking about or planning for rail as a part of transit planning and for central Indiana. And so it doesn't mean that this will happen, but it gives the mayor and the city council the opportunity, if an employer or if the city and the voters decide that that's something they want to do, that they'll have that option.
How do you make that case to a town that doesn't really have let's call it a comprehensive mass transit system, or maybe a diverse mass transit system, and make the case to the voters saying this is why this investment is important? Because I'm assuming that's what the next step is here, right?
Yeah, I mean, we had the transit referendum that passed, pretty overwhelmingly here in Indianapolis to invest more in transit, but that was limited because of state law to just busing. And as I went through the community I represent and talked with a lot of the stakeholders, that they wish that the plan could have been broader and had more opportunity for a more permanent sort of transit system that rail offers than just bus lines. And so I think that the public here in Indianapolis wants it. They see as the city's growing and moving forward that this should be something that we should have an option to plan for.
Do you think that Amazon then is sort of that opportunity to say, look, if we don't have a comprehensive mass transit system, if we say light rail is out of the question, we can't do it, then that could exclude us from getting farther down this list, and maybe we don't get Amazon whether there's light rail or not, but that other companies down the road think that this is a very important thing to have.
Yeah, I think that transit is important as a city wants to grow, and I think that Amazon dinged a few other cities in the last round of cuts because they didn't have planning for transit. We at least had a plan moving forward. I think that what it says is that Indianapolis is a place that big companies are looking at and are interested in, and I think that as we want to continue to be competitive and attractive to new companies that are looking to come here, I think transit is a big part of that.
Yeah, so I guess sort of laying the framework for the future, not just for Amazon right now, but for businesses down the road.
And for the existing residents that live here. I mean, it's not just all about attracting new, it's about connecting people who do live here already and making the city more accessible. The neighborhoods, particularly the old historic neighborhoods here in Indianapolis, are rapidly redeveloping and people are re-urbanizing here into the downtown area. And I think transit's a big part of how do we sustain that growth and help people who move downtown get to places they want to get to and maybe even give up their car or use it less.
Without being a transportation engineer, I think that there are some pretty natural fits too that you could see around town very easily shaping up in order to become the next maybe hub or the next line for whatever light rail project might be. So I think that part of it at least could be a pretty easy sell.
Yep. Yeah,
Excellent.
I think so too.
Well, thanks so much for joining us.
I
appreciate the talk.
You. Appreciate it.
And for more great conversations with leaders in our community, please visit ComcastNewsmakers.com.